What constitutes the real existential threat to Israel? Iran is one, but it's a nation state, a very powerful nation state, 92 million people, a regional power. But the other existential problem that Israel faces is the non-resolution of the Palestinian issue. One of the first things I do in the class is I put up a map of Israel and the occupied territories. I point to the Jordan River, and I point to the Eastern Mediterranean Sea. And between these two waterways is a small, relatively small land that's part is Israel and part is the Palestinian territories. And I make a very simple demographic note. In this small piece of land between these two bodies of water, there are approximately 7.2 million Palestinian Arabs and an approximately the same number of Israeli Jews. Even the most extreme factions, either on the Palestinian side or the Israeli side, cannot get rid of the other. I mean, that's simply geopolitics and geodemographics, if I can use that word. Fundamentally, what we've been working for, and I've worked for 8 US administrations from John F. Kennedy to Bill Clinton. And we've always been promoting a two-state solution, independent Palestinian state living in peace and security next to Israel. And it's the only true way of dividing these two peoples under very viable security arrangements that each one can live its own national life. You know, John F. Kennedy said that one of the greatest issues in the world is the lack of self determination of one people's recognizing the self-determination of the other. The end goal is the mutual self-determination of these two people. And we've been at this for many years, but the point of the matter is if Israel describes itself as it does, and these words are very important, as a democratic Jewish state, how can you remain democratic if you continue to occupy? We're in our 58th year of occupation of the Palestinian territories. If you continue to occupy the Palestinian Arabs, how can you be democratic? You're going to have unequal rights between the two peoples, the occupier and the occupied. And then how can you remain Jewish if up to now the current trend is in that the Palestinians simply uh, their demographic rate of growth is larger, with the one exception of the Orthodox Jews in Israel, but in general, they have been the rate of demographic growth has been much higher on the or higher on the Palestinian side. Now that can change, but again, how do you define yourself as a democratic Jewish state if you're an occupier and you're controlling millions of Arabs? So, is Israel going to continue, certainly after October 7th, which was a horrific event, 1,200 Israelis brutally killed by Hamas. But how can you, and then the Israeli reaction, retaliation, which has been massive over the many months now, with at least 55,000 Palestinians killed and over 100,000 wounded. But how can you continue to exist as a garrison state, constantly fighting your neighbors?